Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Anime Watch Club, a bi-weekly group discussion and review where the hosts of the What Do You Say Anime podcast nominate and vote on shows either we haven't seen or shows that hopefully lead to a great discussion. On today's episode, the cinephiles of the What Do You Say Anime podcast will be reviewing the 2002 classic anime movie Millennium Actress. Let's meet today's Satoshi Kon fanboys. Similar to Fujiwara, he too often blurs the line of what is reality and what is in his head due to his opioid addiction. We have Johnny. Johnny, how's it going?
How is that just not racist?
I don't know. You abuse opioids.
You've done that. Okay, clearly you haven't taken history, and
I have not.
You're the
That's why
racist of the Discord, though.
Yeah, it's in the Discord, Lord Johnny,
Yeah.
so it's a fact.
Yeah, it's fine.
Wow.
It's not racist if it's true. Next up, he has the key to all of our hearts. We have Kat. Kat, how's it going?
Homie, I'm gonna let you know right now. Feeling classy. Got some pork. Got some beef cutlet with me. Drinking some Soda Stream soda. I'm chilling.
I'm glad you're eating dinner during a podcast recording. Thanks, Kat. Our first moderator tonight, he is also a painter, but specializes in male new models. We have Miles. Miles, how's it going?
But why male models?
You tell me.
Oh no, that doesn't work. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. Call me Pompo. I'm excited for this. It's gonna be a good time.
I understood that reference. And we got Pat.
I didn't get it, so don't worry. Yeah, let's talk about Millennium Actress. I'm just so excited. I get to see Kaguya before you guys do, so
You get to see
A third
30
of it.
minutes of it.
I get to see Kaguya before you guys do, and I don't care.
It's 30 minutes. Relax.
We've read the manga.
Yeah, well, I get to see the superior version of Kaguya before you do. So there we go. Yeah, no, let's talk about Millennium Actress. This is a movie from 2002 done by Satoshi Kon, one of the most famous anime directors of all time. Rest in peace. Done also by Studio Madhouse, his studio. So yeah, let's get into our spoiler-free first impressions. The movie's only a pretty short one, actually. It's only about an hour and a half, so which isn't that short, but for a movie nowadays it is. It feels like. Yeah, so let's do our first impressions. First, what we knew about it going in, maybe, and then the first couple, first 10, 15 minutes. Miles, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, so I mean, I knew it was a Satoshi Kon movie, so I knew I was gonna like it. I was a little sad because it's our last Satoshi Kon movie, and we're not gonna get any more ever. So that was like a bit of a bummer. But this was a good one to go out on. Actually, sort of a fitting one to go out on.
Yeah.
I feel like I had a really good time with it. I loved it from the beginning. Like all of his movies, it had a miraculous opening sequence with like sort of surreal music happening. And I don't know, I was pretty hooked on this from the beginning. I definitely recommend it. It's a good time.
Is this really? I thought he had one other movie. Didn't he have like a war?
He has a show.
Ah,
He is
okay.
Paranoia Agent.
Well, knowing us, we'll get to that eventually. Yeah, it was a very fitting movie to go out on. I agree with that, or to do last, I guess, in his filmography. Miles, Kat, what about you?
Hey, so this movie was really, really good. It was really fun to observe. I would definitely recommend it. It really encapsulated me with like the way that the show kind of presented itself, and as a person who used to act itself, like it definitely felt like I definitely caught on to the feeling of this show immediately. It was really fun to experience it and just almost like a visual representation of sometimes what I feel when I'm talking to other actors. Really fun. I would I would definitely recommend it. This show, I was definitely hooked. Uh yeah, that's really all I can say without spoiling anything.
Yeah,
Really appreciate it.
of course. All right, Johnny, what about you?
yeah, so it was fun for me as well. I will say it's quite unfortunate that it's called a Millennium Actress, but unfortunately she was only an actress for 50 years, so that's only like what 5% of 1,000 years.
False
Kind of
advertising.
misleading. Yeah, like
Yeah.
really misleading. Just like clickbait articles have just gotten really bad lately, so I just want to like to address that. But anyways, I mean, show's fun. Pete, I don't need your approval.
I will. Oh, maybe I have to explain to you why it's called Millennium Actress. Then
Yeah, I'm sure you'll give me the lore later, but I had fun with this show. I think like the way it presented the story was a bit unique. These emotes are gonna get out of hand. I like the way. Usually, I don't like shows too much that are like too abstract, where it's just like you have no idea what it's going on. It's like maybe I did take all the opium, but this show it wasn't that bad. It wasn't like on the level of like Perfect Blue, like I have no idea what's real or what's fake. But yeah, I think the show did it in a pretty good way, so I definitely recommend.
Yeah, I agree with that. The blending of like reality or whatever. I guess we'll talk about this later. Miles brought it up, like Slumdog Millionaire is what it felt like a little bit this movie. So, and I definitely agree with that. Pete, what about you?
yep. So this was my favorite director of all time, done by my favorite studio of all time. So I had insanely high expectations going in, and it delivered. I thought this movie was absolutely incredible. Satoshi Kon is a master of storytelling, and what he did in this movie as a love letter to cinema, a romance style story told through the eyes of this actress, I thought was just so capsulating to what it was trying to present. This movie was just an absolute blast. It felt like one of those things where like it's like 40 minutes has gone by and the movie's over. It's like, what? It's done? I was having so much fun watching this. It was that level of enjoyment that I had to this movie. It was so good. I would recommend it to almost any person just that needs to experience Satoshi Kon. This is one of, if not his best work he's ever done.
Yeah, I would recommend this as well. I knew going in it would be great, and it was. I think the only thing a caveat I have for it is I think it'd be hard to just turn this on without knowing who made it or knowing uh about anime or maybe even Japanese history to some extent. Like, I feel like if I showed this to my parents or someone else who isn't as use the word, but that's funny, cultured, you know, but someone who isn't as cultured wouldn't understand it or wouldn't see the movie and get as much out of it as people like us would. People who follow anime, follow art in general, or analyze movies the way that we do. I think this movie is incredible for those of us that do that. But I think for a casual watcher, they might just see it and be like, "Oh, that was a cool story," like no, and not think twice about it. But yeah, I would recommend this to anyone who likes anime, anyone who's ever liked the Satoshi Kon movie. 100% recommend it. And yeah, I think that's it. So let's move on to spoilers. I don't think the plot's really that imperative, other than maybe the final 20 minutes or so where you get answers to questions asked about the movie. But it's also only a movie, only an hour and a half. So go watch it before you listen to us and have us spoil it for you. Anyone have any beginning talking points?
Yeah, actually, I would like to challenge something that you said, your little intro thing there,
No.
where okay, in that case, I agree with
Hey, we'll see you
everything
next
you
week.
said.
Yeah, thanks, guys. All right, let's talk about what shows we're nominating next week.
Yeah, so we had a pretty tight race between. So yeah, I think that while you're right that knowing Japanese cinema and Japanese history is helpful for this. I think that it's the themes that it deals with are basic enough and human enough where I don't think that's like a super prerequisite. It might be like a prerequisite to get that like to like eke out that last percentage of enjoyment from it. But like ultimately it's like this really human story and like people know what it's like to be in like a country during like wartime and they know what it's like to have like a lost love or maybe to like try to pursue a passion or feel like you're in a rut in your life or like the things that she deals with and the things that the films portray are all very human things and it does do it through a lens of classic Japanese cinema, right? Like you see like in a like I definitely don't know all of it but like those samurai movies and stuff I'm sure people have seen and there are scenes that are essentially just lifted right out of like classic Japanese cinema and everything. There was Godzilla at one point. Um, and but I think that like even if you like if you have a cursory glance of that sort of thing, which I think most people do, right? Most people know like what a samurai is and know about World War II, you know, that you could really sort of enjoy this without that crunchiness. Like I love the crunchiness, but I do think that it's just at its heart a very, very, very sort of relatable story about, a woman just remembering her life at the twilight of it.
Like I definitely get what you're saying. Uh, I just felt like I don't know when at least really, especially for the first half of the movie, I wouldn't I don't think saying that I was bored is fair, but I was kind of sitting here wondering, hey, where are we going with this? Like, what's the what is the direction that this movie is going in? And I think that knowing what I know about Japanese history and then also things like this in general, uh, I think that that's where it helped me, like stay focused or stay in tune.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, I feel like this is more geared towards kind of like what what Miles was saying, towards like an older audience, because of like we didn't really live through like a Godzilla era film. We had some films, but like it wasn't like a cultural thing. It wasn't this huge phenomenon. Samurai movies really aren't a thing anymore, at least in the West here. And I feel like it's gravitated more towards that style, or that like those age groups, to be honest. I think someone like us is kind of, it's put off a little bit because maybe we're not familiar with like 47 Ronin or something like that, where we have like these samurai movies, or Godzilla, like some of the old school and that style. And to me, I think, I'm trying to think of like where I'm going with this, but like
The movie is so nostalgia filled, right? Like, is
yeah,
that what you're trying to?
kind of, yeah, because it is a love letter to like Japanese cinema throughout the entire repertoire of her like resume. I kind of like what Johnny was mentioning earlier, why it's called Millennium Actress is because you see the range that she does as an actress, where it goes from 15th century samurai to in space as an astronaut. Like it spans the millennia, and that's why it's called Millennium Actress, because she has her ranges throughout a millennia, which I thought was really fun and a little like tip of the hat type of thing with the story. Which
I
is
think it's also called that because of the curse as well, right? The curse being 1,000 years that that she's supposed to be seeking, from that.
I'm not familiar with what that is.
So when in one of her movies slash memories from her life, right? Like those fused things, because I guess this is important to establish. We see her past and the movie she acted in, like blended in as one as she's talking to, I guess, the other two main characters who are a film crew who are interviewing her, getting a rare interview. She doesn't do like public appearances. Um, and so during one of those, she sees an old lady who tricks her into drinking a
Oh, that's
potion
right. Yeah.
that lets her live for 1,000 years. And it's one of her first movies. And then she does that. And when does her career as an actress end? That in the space movie, right? Like it's sort of both of those things, right? They're tied
I
together.
agree. Right. I thought that's why I brought it up too. Yeah. Like I definitely agree that it's meant to be like, oh yeah, she's the actress who's done stuff over the course of a millennia as well. Yeah. I don't know. I think that her range of characters that she did was really really interesting to see too, because like you go through her career and you see her growing not only as an actress, like getting like better roles, bigger roles or whatever, but also like in age as well. Like she like it gets bigger and bigger parts, and like and it is really cool that it just kind of progresses naturally too, with history or with the current times. I think that was really cool. A lot of nods to like Kurosawa, like we were talking about with the samurai films. Those are what inspired westerns in our media, in American media, or pop culture. A lot of Western movies are based off of the samurai movies that they were referencing in that or in Millennium Actress. So there's a lot of really cool nods to film in general. I mean, obviously the Godzilla one was a very like overt one, but there's a lot of scenes too that were pretty much straight ripped from old movies. It was It was definitely like it was almost Tarantino like to me, you know, like
Yeah, well, yeah, Tarantino is heavily inspired by these samurai movies, right? Like that's Tarantino loves those.
oh well, no, I mean just me in general though. Like Tarantino always has these little references,
Oh
in
yeah,
in every single scene. There's a reference to something. But he also, yeah, was obviously heavily inspired by. Well, he's talked about. I believe Tarantino as well has talked about Kurosawa and how important he was to, like a movie like Django Unchained and
I'm pretty sure the
um,
Hateful Eight is like a samurai movie.
it
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Kill
It,
Bill.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kill Bill too.
She uses a
mhm.
katana.
So
And
yeah,
slices down a whole ass like a whole group of samurai as
Yes,
people.
it's
the Hateful Eight is the Seven Samurai, which is the most famous samurai movie of all time. So it's literally the retelling of that story. I'm pretty sure. So it's cool stuff, really cool stuff that Tarantino and Satoshi Kon clearly both have good taste, I guess, because again, these callbacks are sick. They're nostalgic, but not even because it's not like I was around when those movies came out. It's more just like, oh yeah, look, he's referencing something that's really important in culture or in film history. I know, I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
yeah. The stuff that it references is so foundational to the stuff that we like that even if we haven't seen it, it can still inspire nostalgia, right? Like I guess like that's my point of view. If you've seen the references, like I knew what the Akira bike slide was before I ever watched Akira, and it's similar with these samurai films and stuff. So they're so heavily drawn upon from vast numbers of media that it's gonna I think it's gonna hit for a lot of people because it keeps going. It's like a chain that builds on itself. Um, you know. So I do think that's neat. But other than the references and stuff, of which there are many and they're all wonderful, does anyone have any starting points, or do you want me to start us off?
I would definitely like to talk about just how, and this really isn't like a deep conversation point, just more of something that we can touch on and move on. Like great he, just how great Satoshi was good at like telling the story of this whole movie. Just the way that he was able to almost encapsulate how sometimes an actor feels when they are like in this moment. Like when they're in this moment where they're just talking to another actor and it feels like they're in the setting that everything around them is feeling. Just like the setting around them just blends away and then all of a sudden it feels like you're in
Mhm.
a completely different landscape, like
Yeah,
that complete setting that is so integral to this to the storytelling of the story. And there's been a few movies like in western culture that have just been like, they're trying to encapsulate that but they do it so badly, or they don't do it well enough that you can actually like feel it. This was just so great in the way that it portrayed its its storytelling prowess, that it's almost timeless. Even though the art style is older, like it's great.
yeah. I guess I can start us off on this. I mean, I definitely agree. I think that there's a few things that it does to like really sort of like wrap you in. Like one, obviously, the blending of the current timeline with the past and like her movies and whatever was happening in her life at the time. Like the blending of all three of those makes you question your setting perfectly. Like, are we actually back here or not? And then you can see the main director guy, the guy who's doing the questions, who used to work with her, and he gets more into it as like time goes on and starts becoming part of the scenes himself, which is another way to sort of, it both sells you on the fact that this was happening in the past and sells you on the fact that it was happening right now, which is insane. That, like, what a clever idea, right? Because for him to have been there, it has to be now, and but like what's happening is something that definitely happened in the past. And so it's just this sort of contradiction that is perfect for the feeling you get when reliving something with a good friend or something you're passionate about, where you can just feel like you're back there, you know, and you're not, but when you see certain people you haven't seen in a while, or talk about things that you haven't got to talk about in a while, be your old college friends or high school friends or from a team or whatever, plays, like if for you, Kat, or anyone else who did like theater, me in 30 years when I haven't talked to you guys in 25 years after we had a big fallout over who would take the $1 million stake in What Do You Say Anime, the world's most successful anime podcast. Um, and like,
My
I'm
bad.
feeling bad because I got super rich off of it, and I'm like, I should go talk to Pete. I guess it was his idea initially.
How you funneled like $100,000 a month to
Yeah.
me or
You're
something
implying
like
that he wouldn't take all the money and run off immediately and not tell any of us.
Well, he
No,
took
you-
his share and gambled it away.
Yeah,
and
I
I
was
just,
gonna
I
say,
just never, yeah.
He makes
You'd
enough
have
money right
to-
now. He's fine.
You'd take a flight out to Minneapolis, and then you'd find the bridge closest to,
Yeah,
wherever he
you go
was,
go
and
under it,
go under it.
and yeah, and find Pete.
Yeah, and you'd be like, damn, maybe he,
Hey,
Yeah,
let's
but
reminisce
it's my
about the good old
my
days.
bridge. It's my
Who
bridge.
has bad takes now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Pete Memorial Bridge.
Ooh, I like that.
And we'll
Is
just
it
be
in-
like,
Just leaves a chopped off arm because that's all his favorite characters.
yeah, yes, true. There's just like
Ooh.
just his arm remains.
It brings you to the mid of Minneapolis.
Yeah, it's in the midpoint, but also the midpoint's peak. So it's like the highest elevation, but it's still mid. So
You're
it
telling
is,
me he's the biggest normie.
yeah, it's like Pete's taste. It's somehow both mid and peak at the same time.
I like that. I'll take that all day. I do want to chime off of Miles though. Why I found the chemistry between Tachibana and Fujiwara just so great is that getting lost in your passions. That's kind of like why we're here. Like, we somewhat have a passion for anime and we're here to talk about it, and sometimes we just get lost in like what we're talking about or what we're watching. And we saw that with Tachibana and Fujiwara, where they are just both so immersed in him in her roles, and then her just being an actress in general, where they mesh together in this sphere of what is reality and what is this visual storytelling based off of her movies. And I just love that passion because we all share it, whether in different varieties, and we could talk about it for hours. And that's what they did in this. They just talked for hours without stopping, to the point where literally Fujiwara got sick. I mean she's sort of essentially on her deathbed already, and that's why I'm assuming that's why she's doing this interview. But to me, I fell in love with that chemistry. It was so well done. I loved it.
Yeah, I think the anytime they'd come back to reality, snap back to reality.
Whoops.
Yeah, there goes gravity.
Oh wait, it was just an earthquake.
Yeah, there you go. Every time they did that, though, it was always fun, like seeing like him sitting there with the samurai helmet
Oh,
on.
yeah,
the
that
old
was-
prop. Like, that was funny. I don't know. Literally every time they snap back, it was like, oh yeah, I forgot. I almost, or not forgot, but I almost didn't remember that they were sitting there just talking. Like this, and this is them visualizing basically her retelling and talking about her career. I don't know if I agree with the message, because like to dumb the message of the movie way down. It's not about the destination, but it's about the journey, right?
Correct.
It's that kind of
Yeah.
the vibe that it's going for, and I don't know. I don't always agree with that. I think that like
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was.
it's not
I
the
think
entire message.
Yeah, I would like. I guess the way that I would word it is like I think
think it's
I think she liked her destination, and I think that for a while in her life, she was motivated by something that, she even admits is sort of a little silly, but I think that it, so what's her name? Echo, the older mean actress lady, talks about how she was jealous of her youth, and then like even as she got older, that like never went away.
Hmm.
Um, and so I think, and this is a conversation Pete and I were having, but this has the romance tag, and I really don't know if it should. There was definitely like undertones of romance, but I think her relationship with the painter is more one of that's more similar to Tachibana's relationship with her, where it's an inspiration, something to like anchor yourself. If we were going to tie this to like, I don't know, Inception or whatever, it's what keeps her young and happy as like an ideal. And I think that, I don't know if it was like, oh, it was about the journey, not the destination. I think it was about the destination, but like just being able to keep yourself invested, involved, and passionate, however you need to during that journey, if that makes sense.
I can't believe you said Inception and not Paprika.
I was already rambling, so I didn't want to be like Inception does with the movie that's tied to it, so but now I have, so here we are.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah, I think what the movie is trying to say is that like, so like a lot of people, they have a goal that they want to reach, but then it's like after you reach that goal, you kind of just don't know what to do with your life. It's like you're lost. It's like, it's like when somebody's like, oh, I want to become the world's richest person, and then they become the richest person, and they're like, okay, what now? Okay, I guess I'm just gonna take even more money because what else
Buy
is there
Twitter.
in my
And
life?
the joke was
Like,
right.
exactly, yeah.
The
It's
joke
just
was
like,
right there, Johnny. Why did you not say, "Oh, I don't know, buy Twitter"?
because Elon Musk isn't the wait, is he? Okay,
Yes.
Yes,
point is,
he
it's like
was.
point is like a lot of people like they reach this point, and then once they've reached it, like they fell off. Like L plus ratio, you fell off. But like, what if you never got up there in the first place? It's like you'd always want to strive for that. So I think that's what she was like. That's why the older lady was jealous of. It was like, because we remember she said that like she never really even liked acting. She only did it so she said like the only reason she got into acting in the first place was to like have an excuse to like go up to wherever like was it Manchuria
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
wherever like they found the person. So like that the drive to find him is what kept her like acting. So that's why like she was like constantly just had that drive to do it. And I think that's really the message. Is like I think that like she never. I guess it's like if she reached that journey, she would have just like stopped. I guess
She
is
does.
what
The
the
moment she gives up on it, she quits.
yeah, exactly.
Like she literally runs off set. Like the moment she decides that that's not what she wants to do anymore, she's gone. Which is, I mean, I guess admirable in a way.
A little bit, yeah.
She never lets herself become the old jaded lady. She,
Mhm.
Once the passion is gone, once, the childhood ideal of what she's doing, which is represented by chasing love in this case, but is really just, it's whatever is most important to you, right? That's what the key opens, whatever is most important to you. And so as soon as that stopped being important to her, she retired.
I find it like hard to like imagine it as love, and I know that sounds weird, but realistically, it's like she met this guy when she was like what, like let's say like early teens, like maybe 13, 14. Doesn't even know his name.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then
yeah.
just,
It's like the
for
idea of
rest of
him.
her yeah.
Yeah, it's the
You know-
ideal of love. That
Yeah.
is what is pushing her. Like
It's like
Mhm.
sorry to cut off. I still want to say like I said this earlier. It's like Millennium Actress is kind of just like Japanese Titanic, where just like you meet like like an old lady recounting her stories of the past, and then she dies at the end, and then it's like, oh, the lover dies too, but like like
That's a
we
good
also
point,
find it
yeah.
out at the end. Like now that I think about it, this Jack was a painter.
Yeah, it's
That
true.
hated
There,
her.
there
This
are
is literally Japanese Titanic.
Fujiwara gets over it though. I don't know if
Yeah,
Rose
but she
ever
also
did.
dies. So.
It's true.
Oh,
Rose
and also
also
she has something that she holds on her neck. She has a necklace.
That's true.
This is
Honestly,
Titanic.
it is
Wow.
pretty.
This is
that's
Japanese
pretty good.
Titanic.
I can't
Um,
believe Johnny
the only
is big
yeah,
bragging so much right now. I can't.
the only
Yo,
way it
where's
could
the
be more
live adaptation
Titanic.
of like? Where's the live
It's
adaptation of
the
Leonardo
Millennium-
DiCaprio being the man that gets locked up in a Japanese prison?
Shutter Island.
Yeah.
Oh,
Great movie, by the way.
that's a dark.
Yeah.
That's a dark alternative timeline. No, if it was fully doing Titanic, she would have killed him.
Maybe
I
she
mean, if you
did.
think she did, like draw the guards' attention to him. So in a way, you know,
It would have been to be so like because one, Jack could have fit on the fucking door, Rose. And two,
It would have sank.
no, it wouldn't have.
Didn't they test the buoyancy of a door like that? And
They
find
did,
that
and
the
it would
weight-
work.
I thought it was the
Yeah.
opposite. I thought
No,
it was
what the director said was we needed a door that was bigger for the shot, so shut up. Which honestly, fair enough. But yeah, no, he would have been fine.
I could go with facts.
Yeah. Point
he
being,
deserved to die.
yeah, I don't
mean, you're
know.
right.
Jack, what?
What? Why did he
Why?
deserve to die?
You know what? This
You're
isn't
a
the Titanic.
monster.
Next April
You're
Fool's
damn
we
right.
can talk about Titanic.
The sequel to Millennium, the
Yeah.
live adaptation of
Millennium Actress,
is Titanic.
Titanic.
I thought you were gonna say Godzilla.
God, what is going on anymore?
I don't know. This is why Pete can chop off 5 minutes of this conversation. However, that is a good parallel, Johnny. Don't chop it all off because that's really good.
Or maybe
That's
I will
pretty
because
funny.
Johnny made a good point. And I can't let
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
happen.
he doesn't want me to be smarter than him. You know, that's like agenda over facts.
facts. Yeah, that's
Hey, I'm the Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader world champion, baby.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Well, as a resident 10-year-old, no, you're not.
What?
ah, it's quippy. He's quippy. Did you guys? What of the flashbacks was y'all's like favorite? Like the movie
No,
scene,
not
Titanic. The Titanic.
Godzilla. I meant the Godzilla one. I was
I did like the Godzilla one. It wasn't like in depth enough to be my favorite, I don't think, but like I did like her just being like, "No, I must run towards Godzilla."
That was
like
fun.
everyone else is like, "What in God's name are you doing?" It's like she's like, "I made a pinky promise." It's like, okay, if you made a pinky promise to fucking die, then well, there you go.
Mine was probably the samurai one. I thought it was so well directed as well. The animations were super fun, and just seeing like that character strive to find the painter, I guess, in that movie was just unique compared to the other ones, where the other ones where it's like she was always like running towards like a train or running towards him, and this one was like she was fighting for him, I guess, in a way. And I liked that aspect of the movie a little bit more than the other ones, but I thought they were all great.
Yeah, I thought the fight scene, the samurai one, was like really, really good and like evocative of what it was attempting to be evocative of.
I don't know if
Yeah.
it means anything, but I really liked where the guy on the horse had the gun and it shot, and we just assumed it was going to hit Fujiwara's character, but it hit the director's character. I giggled a little bit from that, just seeing him just be all animated, being like, "Oh, go on without me," and she's like, "All right," like I'm not here for you.
It's also it was like he wasn't a good actor, and it showed in the
Yeah.
scenes.
Oh,
fun.
yeah, real fun.
It's not your flashback; it's mine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm the main character.
Like,
Yeah.
am I supposed to cry for your bad acted ass? Keep moving.
I don't know. I guess I like the samurai one the most too, but that's because I love samurai stuff. You know, like I thought it was cool to see them. I rewound at one point because there was a red-haired person in like one of the running scenes, and I was like, "Oh, was that a nod to Kenshin?" But nah, it wasn't close enough in my eyes. Like it was close, but I don't think it was meant to be a reference to Kenshin specifically, at least. But yeah, I guess the samurai one was my favorite. I did like though how the director slowly became more and more a part of the story or the memories as well. like his he obviously was always filling in for a character, like whether that was in the samurai story or in other places, but then he actually becomes part of the memory, right? Because he actually exists in, was part of her life when she was an actor. I really liked that. He started to remember what he said in those moments. It explains how he found the key and how he had the key for her. Like I liked how it tied everything together in terms of him, yeah, or why she even would talk to him, like in the first place, or why he would have the key, all those sorts of things. I thought that it did a really good job of like justifying it, I guess.
My favorite flashback of the movie was also the samurai, but I just want to add in just Kyoji, the cameraman, just how good he was as like comic relief at times,
Yep.
just like being there and like, yo, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like that type of thing. It was very like sobering. It kind of took you out of that situation. It made you feel like it made you feel good, and it kind of like it was a way of stepping back, almost. So I enjoyed that.
Yeah, and he even got into it a little bit at the end there, where he was like, "Oh, where are we now?" Like, and he was like having a hard time following because he wasn't as familiar with with like her movies or anything. But like, he still was enough invested to like feel the scenery changes and everything like that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just thought this was such a beautiful way to like reminisce about someone's life and like the passions they had and like the loves they had or didn't have or whatever. I thought it was just such a neat thing. Like I loved the scene where she like finds the painting he did of her like on the rock and everything. I think that, oh god, I don't know. Like I also love that they never met again. Like I think that's correct, right? Like I think that's like the right thing to have happened in this story. And it's sad that you never get that youthful ideal, right? But like you don't sometimes, like that's just not, it's not, and it's such a mature way of looking at it where she's happy with her life. She feels like she's lived a good life, even though she never really didn't, I don't know. Even though that ideal was never met, she's satisfied, and I think that's like nice, and sad at the same time. I don't know. I don't know. I really like this movie. um,
It's it's that dichotomy of like wanting to change the world, wanting to be able to get what you want at the beginning of your life, and at the end of the life, knowing that you weren't able to achieve what you really wanted to, but you were able to live a life to its fullest, and that satisfaction at the end of it. That's what I feel like. That's what you're trying to say.
yeah, and it's like she understood, right, that it was, I don't know, like that it wasn't like really
It
like she
wasn't.
knew, yeah, she knew she wasn't in love with him, right, like fully and truly, and that she just loved like the ideal, and I think that helps with it a lot. It shows good self-reflection on her part. It's, I don't know. It's like having dreams. Like I don't think we're ever too old to have dreams or anything, and I don't think she was ever too old to really have dreams, and that's just, I love it.
Yeah, because I mean, this whole like show, this whole podcast that we're doing is like one of Pete's dreams. So this is his ideal.
Thank you for fulfilling my dream.
Wake up.
That sounds
13-year-old soul.
yeah, dude, you just sounded like we were all in an idol anime together, and you have convinced us to join your
Oh,
idol
God.
club
Oh
or
god,
whatever.
Well, I got some big news for you boys. We're going on tour.
Yeah,
Corey-
we're gonna be moving to the gaming chat instead of the private one. That's our tour.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Yep. Choreography practice at 7. Be there.
Oh, we're late. Yeah. So,
7 a.m.
oh God, no, no,
Bright and
no,
early,
thank
baby.
you.
Nah, bro.
Yeah, no thanks.
You got the wrong group.
Yeah, no. I really like the scene. This one probably just hit closer to me because again, I witness this every single day of my life with my grandparents living with me now. But her realizing like, damn, I can't even remember his face and getting sad about it like that. That shit hit home for me. I just, I've dealt with that within the past week. So I almost cried at that scene. It was very, very, very beautiful. But then also it was nice to see that, like, oh yeah, this key, it's fucking useless, but to me it evokes so many memories and reminds me of things. Like I thought that was a really, really, really well done scene. Like I thought it was and it's true. It's amazing what people can remember just from seeing something or holding on to something. The way the brain works is so cool.
Yeah, honestly, like the memory stuff that she had going on is also, I think, part of like why these things blended together. But I think that just shows that, like, at the end of our lives, like how much like what we do is inspired by why we do it, and how that like blends, like you don't remember everything exactly perfect, but you do, like, the story is there nonetheless, at least for her. So, and like, I don't know, it was interesting because she was pretty cognizant, I think, that she didn't have a lot of time left, but I don't know, but she got to spend the last of her time just enjoying
Reminiscing.
yeah.
And I feel like that's one of the things that personally I would really love to do, like when I'm older, like because I mean, out of all of us, I feel like I might be the last one to live out of all of us once we're like
Whoa.
80, 90.
I plan to live forever, homie.
Yeah, we know that Pete's gonna live until he's 50, but like Johnny maybe.
That's mean.
I know, like we've been taking shots today. That one just
God
caught me very off
damn.
guard.
Yeah,
I'm
Pete, how do we
sorry.
have the memorial bridge, if you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, I guess I'll take one for the team. All right.
Thanks. Okay.
For the
Well,
bridge.
I promise I'll visit the bridge.
I might visit.
I'll
I don't
visit
know.
the bridge, but
I'll think about it.
but like just being able to like hang out with you guys like as we get older, and just like being able to like have an actual like live action version of the podcast where we're all just like right beside each other. That would be really fun. It'd be really cool, and be really cool to like just reminisce about like the times where we had like maybe 1,000 viewers when we have like 2 million or something like that. That'd be cool.
Yo, we have
Hey,
1,000
Miles.
viewers?
Hey Miles, you remember that time that you said Violet Evergarden sucks? Fuck you.
Oh, I
That's-
got
honestly, yeah.
moments like that.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll save
Hey,
my quit.
remember when Miles cyberbullied me?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, wait, that's
I
every
do.
episode.
I do
I thought
remember
it was
that.
Pete that cyberbullied you.
No,
It's a collective
nope.
effort.
I cyberbully
Yeah.
everybody. Let's be real.
The
Right.
one time I cyber bullied Johnny was when he like criticized.
Honestly, I deserved it, but it's victim mentality.
There was a confession scene, and he was like, "It just didn't feel realistic." And I was like, "Have you ever kissed a girl, Johnny?"
We're like
So-
a South Park episode now where we're sitting here like, oh, I remember. Yeah, I
Right?
remember the
Okay,
Barbarian.
but that's a-
I remember.
But that's like the effect of this movie, right?
Yeah,
Like
it is.
Yeah.
has us doing
Where's the
that.
part where they all get brutally murdered when we step on the member berries?
When we make wine,
The end.
honestly.
Yeah.
Fair. And
Hey.
we make wine to forget about everything, hence we crush the memories.
Hey guys, remember when we were really bad about not talking over each other? I remember. Oh my goodness.
You mean 5 seconds ago?
Yeah, that's the joke I'm going for. We're fucking terrible today about talking over each other. That's okay, but that's what the magic of editing does.
Can't edit that.
No, you can edit it. Make it take the bad joke out. But yeah, whatever. I don't know. That's your moderator warning. There, I'm doing my job for once. Yeah.
I'll continue to not do my job.
More fun not to. It's really fun. It's nice. Yeah. Are you quiet quitting on us, Miles? Like,
The God, I don't know. I like the art style a lot. I think that even this like flatter art style that Pat tends to find mid fits for an older, like something that takes flashbacks and stuff. And the way that like
I liked it a lot too. I thought it fit what the story was going for. But I also was sitting there and I was thinking to myself, damn, this is very like not colorful. Even at the end, like again, I got at the beginning, it was intentionally like closer to black and white because that's what back then everything was black and white, right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But I thought, especially near the end of the movie, it seemed to still be very flat color wise. But even then, it still worked for the.
It
It
so
wasn't. It
yeah.
wasn't that bad. It's not like it
According
was bad. It was just weird to
to
me.
the YouTube video that Pete linked me and all of us, it was like about like scenery and stuff was black and white, but things that she was focusing on or scenes that she remembered better, like it had a correspondent. Like the more powerful something was to her, the more memory you got out of it, which is why you never saw his face, right? Like that's a thing I just made. That's not. I don't know if that's from the YouTube video or not. But she can't remember his face, which is why we don't see his face in the
Yeah.
flashbacks, and it's why scenery is out of focus or black and white, but people and conversations that she's having are color and vibrant. And then that if there's a time where the scenery is important, it is colored. Like it does sort of do that. It's very. I'm gonna miss Satoshi Kon. I just miss him. Like I
I,
just.
I should call her. No.
Yeah.
Bruh.
I I uh I noticed her eyes at different moments in different films or different like flashbacks were different colors. She had bluish eyes at certain points rather than like the traditional just black, like the way that Satoshi Kon usually draws eyes in movies. Like I noticed that a couple times, and I was trying to like draw connections to when specific things happened or why it was like that, and I don't think I couldn't really come up with anything. At least on my first watch through. Maybe the second time I watch it, yeah, I'll find something like that. I don't know. Again, we're. Did we have anything else that we really specifically want to highlight?
Yeah, I
From the
do.
movie. Okay, go.
Well, okay, I want to do my Satoshi Kon thing. So if you have
Yeah.
like a,
Okay, that's what I was gonna.
okay,
Put
so
us to.
this concludes the filmography for us for Satoshi Kon. And so I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on how you would rank the 4 Satoshi Kon movies that we've seen and just like your opinion on those 4 movies. If you need a minute, I can go first.
Okay, Pete, start us off.
Okay, so I'll go first. To me, I think Perfect Blue is the best anime ever created. I think it's the best anime movie ever created as well. So obviously that's gonna be my number 1. But I think I'd put Millennium Actress at number 2. I loved how technical and how theme driven this story was, how it meshed the visual storytelling with the movies in real life was incredible. And then I would go Paprika 3 and then Tokyo Godfathers a very close 4. I think Paprika and Tokyo Godfathers are like right there. They're so close to each other, but I think Millennium Actress and Perfect Blue are just like top tier anime movies in my opinion.
Since everyone else is deciding, I'll go. So
Yeah.
kind of funny for me. It's like it's almost like the other way around. I mean, like Perfect Blue, I think it is like technically speaking, and in terms of like what it's trying to do, is a good movie. It's just not really for me. I don't really like the whole like it's like too far out like abstract for me. Where it's just like I have to like go into the 5th dimension to even figure out what is going on half the time. When I have to read up like 25 hours of lore to like understand a specific quote from this character, it's just too much thinking for me. I like to just watch a movie and not search up stuff about it afterwards. I think that's gonna be my least favorite. I still think it's a good movie, but I just don't really have it like as good as the other ones. I think for third is gonna be Paprika. It was kind of the same thing. Where it's just like too abstract, too many dream sequences. Where it's just like I didn't really understand a whole lot what was going on. It made me feel like I was actually on opium. So maybe that's what it's like. But anyway, so second place then would probably go to Millennium Actress. I think this is. I mean, it's kind of in just the order of like most confusing to least confusing because like Tokyo Godfathers would obviously then be my most favorite because it was a very straightforward plot. You know exactly what happens. There's nothing like confusing or anything like that. So that's probably why that's my favorite Satoshi Kon movie. But yeah, that's my orders: Tokyo Godfathers, Millennium Actress, Paprika, and Perfect Blue.
I think I have oh no, Paprika I have at an 8 versus all the other 3 I have at 9s, I believe. So I guess Paprika would be my lowest one, although I think I enjoyed how trippy that one was. Maybe I didn't like it as much in hindsight. I feel like I remember being frustrated by the way it ends.
The romance with the fat guy really throws me. In
Yeah,
Paprika.
there you go. That's also there you go. I remember that now. Holy shit.
I
Thank
don't
you.
remember that. What the hell?
It was out of nowhere. It was so bizarre. I
Yeah.
have literally no idea what he was getting at.
That movie
Okay.
is literally a dream to me. I don't
Maybe
remember anything
that
happening.
probably is why I have it in 8 then. Oh god, it's funny too because the way Mal sorts it, Perfect Blue, Tokyo Godfathers, and Millennium Actress are all next to each other on my list. When I filtered by score, I guess I don't know. I think this one would probably be my third in third. Like Millennium Actress would be third, just because I think Perfect Blue is technically so incredible and was such a mind blowing experience. I think that has to be one, and then 1A would have to be Tokyo Godfathers because of how much fun it was, and it was fun while also still telling a full complete story. Uh, I loved that movie a lot.
If you don't want to go the next, Miles, I can go next.
Oh, sure. Sorry, I
Okay.
was typing on the spreadsheet.
Okay, cool. So for me, for our Satoshi Kon things, I haven't watched Tokyo Godfathers or Paprika. I am getting to those though. They are next on my list. But for the two that I have watched, Perfect Blue and Millennium Actress, I believe that Perfect Blue is the best anime horror movie ever made. Because of the way that it's directed, because of the way that it misleads you, because of the mystery, because of the intensity of the show, it is amazing as just a movie in general. It is one if not my favorite movie of all time, and like it is definitely my favorite anime movie of all time because of how it is, how it goes, how it's directed. Now Millennium Actress, great movie. Now Perfect Blue is out of 10. Millennium Actress, I actually also have it at a 10, but Perfect Blue is always going to be at least in my top 10 anime of all time, if not my first. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So mine. Oh God, this is tough for me. So 4 is Paprika. That's easy enough for me. 3 is also easy enough for me, but it's better than Paprika, and I have Perfect Blue there. I really like Perfect Blue. I like Paprika too, but I really like Perfect Blue. I do think it's a little. I think it's his first movie, and I think you can like kind of tell. Um, I think he gets like a little cute with it, and that's not I don't know. It's like my 13th highest rated anime of all time or something. So like I do want to understate that this is like I'm not like something has to separate these. The next two is tough for me. So Tokyo Godfathers is in my top 10. This will probably also be in my top 10, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Recency biases. I'm gonna go Tokyo Godfather's Millennium Actress because I just watched Millennium Actress. I still remember how much I loved it from watching it yesterday. I immediately want to watch it again. I want to, just latch on to like all of it, like so much. Um, and so I would say that is my favorite, but I reserve the right to be lying.
To
So
yourself.
yeah,
Fair enough. All right. Well, I think those are our that's our list. I really do like a lot of his work. It's I don't know if he's my favorite because I still love what's his name Makoto Shinkai movies so much.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been so blown away as I was watching Your Name the first time, and then going back through his discography to then seeing Weathering with You in person, like in theater, like that's such, and I can't wait to do it again. In a couple weeks or a couple months. Like I don't know. But I also, what if I saw what Satoshi Kon made last year, assuming he was, if he was still
Yeah.
around, like it's really it's impossible to know for sure. And that's why it's good to have multiple favorites. You can like Christopher Nolan and Steven Spielberg at the same time, right? Like you can like them both. So,
Pick one.
no. Well, if I actually had to pick one, Nolan for sure. I think The Dark Knight is just such a freaking incredible movie. Like oh my god. I sound basic as shit saying that, but I don't care. Such a good
Nah,
movie.
it's fine. It's a great movie.
It's an incredible movie. um, and so is Interstellar. Oh my god, Christopher Nolan podcast. Let's start it. All right. I'd actually pick Tarantino too. He's my favorite director. So there we go. Full circle. I think that's. Do we want to move on to our closing thoughts? I know we haven't covered everything, but just keep ourselves moving here.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we're at a good time.
As I say, we're probably about almost an hour now.
Yep, just
Even
about.
pretty incredible that we can talk this much about a movie that's only an hour and a half long. So, yeah, let's do closing thoughts. Miles, you kick us off and give us your final score too. Let me get out my calculator. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So, I loved this movie. There was just so much about it that I feel like it did such a good job of getting me wrapped up in Fujiwara's life. I felt for her. I was joyous with her and the director. I almost teared up at the end. But of course, this wasn't the theme of King JJ, so I did not cry. Because nothing is that.
Nothing is more sad than
Yeah,
figure
nothing
skating.
is more emotional.
Style.
Um,
JJ style.
but I don't know. I just like truly loved it. I think part of it is that I'm just so bittersweet that like I'm done with Satoshi Kon movies, and like there just aren't going to be any more, and then like that's sad. And it's like the same way that there aren't going to be any more movies where Fujiwara acts in them, right? Like I don't know. It really is just sort of like he obviously couldn't have known that in 2003 when he was writing writing this, but like
You knew he'd die eventually, right? You knew that this.
true. Yeah, I guess I probably didn't think it would be 7 years from then. I guess, but I don't know. It really touched me. I love the nostalgia of it, the bittersweetness of it, the um celebration of it in the modern time. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Passion is a wonderful thing to have for whatever you have passion for, and I think it should be celebrated, and people with that passion should explore it. Even if it's just getting together with 4 of your friends and talking about anime for an hour for an audience of several dozen people. Um, you know, it,
I didn't know Satoshi Kon did that.
yeah, he did.
Cool.
He of course one day might have made it as big as us, the What Do You Say Anime podcast. Um, but he unfortunately never got to. So,
Damn.
yeah. Anyways, I'm giving this a 10. I love it.
Maybe someday Satoshi Kon will reach number 22 on the Apple Podcast list in Turkey.
Yeah, maybe
We're
one day.
allowed in Turkey.
We sure are. For now.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? You said a 10? Sorry, just wanted to
Yes.
double check. Yes, okay. 10 out of 10 from Miles. Kat, what about you?
This movie was definitely a treat to watch, from the animation to the music to just how the direction of the movie like made me feel like I was back in John Casablanca's acting agency where I was actually learning how to act and learning how to like be on TV and learning how to read script just from like teleprompter and stuff like that. It's really fun. It definitely took me back, and that feeling definitely made me come up with my score, which is a 10. Uh, I would recommend it to anybody that's ever going to that's ever really getting into anime. I actually recommended it to one of my friends, one of my coworkers that's really into anime too. Uh, but yeah, this show, it there's no other way of putting it. It is a fucking masterpiece.
So there you go. 10 out of 10, I assume, from Kat. There we go.
Mhm.
Johnny, what about you?
Yeah, so as for the rating I'm gonna give for the Japanese adaptation of Titanic, it's just I, I mean, it was like I said, one of the better movies from Satoshi Kon in my opinion. I think it's like I I do like the straightforwardness of it more. And I think that like back to like what Miles was saying a little bit about like the colors being faded for like stuff that she didn't remember as well. I was trying to think like, oh maybe that's why her memories are in the form of the movies because she probably remembers the movies that she's been in. So maybe that's like an easier way for her to access her memory. So maybe that's the why it's presented that way. I thought that was an interesting thing. But yeah, either way, I think I'm gonna give this an 8. I think it was a very well directed show. I definitely enjoyed it a lot better than a lot of other movies that well not just movies but like anime that have had been like quite old, you know, like older than me. You know, it's like there in my opinion there's not really too many anime that are really like too good back then. But you know, this one was definitely a bit better than the rest. So yeah, 8 out of 10. Pretty good show.
Is this older than you? Holy shit.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Wow. Good lord.
Elfin Lead is like a week older than me.
That's pretty funny.
Mm.
That's so funny. All right, Pete, what is your final score?
I'm kind of in the same camp as Miles, where it's a little bittersweet that I've completed all of Satoshi Kon's work. You guys can still watch Paranoia Agent if you want more, but I think what the beauty of his work is that we can have these conversations and get different viewpoints and different ideas and how we interpreted things from this style of movie is just so unique. And to quote Satoshi Kon himself, he said, "There's no single solution. That's what I want the most of my work to be. I want people to see it in many different ways," and I think he succeeded in that. Not only with this movie, but I think with most of his work. I think something like Paranoia Agent is a little more straightforward, but especially with like Perfect Blue and Paprika, and not Tokyo Gappas, but I think he does a great job of having people interpret his work in many different ways, and because of that, that's the reason why he's my favorite director of all time. He's an absolute masterclass of directing, and I'm very sad that he passed away and we won't get more of that. I think he sticks out something like current day and age we have like Makoto Shinkai. I think you can easily identify when it's one of his movies. Um Masaki Yusa from Science Saru, I think, is another example where you can clearly tell when it's one of his works. And I think Satoshi Kon is in that like same stratosphere. So just honestly just an iconic figure, and I'm sad that this is the last movie we get to see of him. The movie itself was just I loved every second of it. The beginning, from how it's portrayed as this documentary of keeping the idea of Fujiwara immortalized in film, where I think in the beginning quote he says like, "She never ages, she's still as young as she always was just like a testament to like how they view filmography and keeping the legacy of somebody alive. And I think that's what this film was, just this love letter to cinema, this love letter to an actor or an actress or somebody polarizing that we could immortalize forever in film or photos or audio, something along those lines. I think that's what this film encapsulated, and it did it perfectly. I love this film. I'm giving it a 10. One of the easiest 10s I've ever given in my entire life. This movie was incredible.
Okay, 10 out of 10 from Pete.
Before you give the score, I need to. I want to make a quick pitch to Johnny to give this movie a 9. Here's the pitch, Johnny. You gave Perfect Blue an 8 as well.
Oh, it's funny how you mentioned that because I realized going back that I did, so I changed it to a 7.
Fair enough. My argument is now
Miles.
null and
Wow.
Yeah,
Miles, if you
Can
need,
we-
Miles, if you want more convincing, I'll DM you my PayPal real quick. No, I'm just joking.
Hey!
yeah, it's not collusion.
But I don't
I
take
mean, to
bribes
be-
unless they're really good.
Okay.
He'll watch ReZero season 2. There you go.
No, you won't.
I will
Yeah.
one day.
One
Yeah,
day.
one day.
One day. When season 3 gets
By the
announced.
time I'm like 30, which
Yeah.
is when season 3 is gonna come out, but
And Pete will be dead by then. There you go.
Yeah.
Rest in Pete. Rest in Pete.
Rest in peace, people.
Oh god damn, that was mean. Yeah, God, now I have to still give my score. All right. I think that this movie was a very, very cool love letter to Japanese movies and the careers that people have in creating art, and that goes beyond just movies. That's just art in general, right? Like, what is your legacy? Uh, how do you remember, or how are you remembered? It's something that I think in particular, latch on to. You know, I want people to remember me for who I am. I want to be remembered. I want to be like, immortal, so to speak, or millennium in this case, right? Like, known for forever, right? Like, you want to have an impact on the people that are around you, and I think that uh, it highlights how not only does the actress have it, but so does some random person she met one time in uh when she was just a child. Like, they completely changed her life. This one little accidental meetup did, and I think that it does that so beautifully through the storytelling of the movie. I really don't know how to formulate my complaints, because I don't really have any specific ones. I think I more was just I wanted more payoff, I think, by the end, and I didn't get that full release. I got close, I think, too, especially with the final scenes of the movie. I feel like it was done extremely well, but I think I just wanted a little more. I don't I really don't know how else to say it, but like I don't think I can give this like a 10, because I don't think it was better than Perfect Blue, and I don't think it was better than Tokyo Godfathers. So this movie's gonna sit at a 9 for me as well, which will bring our average score to a 9.4,
4,
which
tying Odd Taxi for
Wow.
our
which
highest
ties
rated.
Wow.
ties our highest rated show. I don't think having more people either would have changed our score that much. It might have brought it down like a half a point by having an extra person involved. But
I would like to say shout out to Galaxy, fuck you, who gave this an 8. So if he was here, which he's not, it would be a 9.17. So let's all
Mm.
just thank our stars that Galaxy isn't here.
All the stars in the galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah. God. Can we end
Yeah,
this?
yeah, we can. That was rough. We are more than a point higher than what Mal is.
Yes.
I well, that and honestly, like, what is the major dissonance, or I guess discourse that has it this low? Because, like, I feel like this movie is not. I guess I kind of just said that in my closing thoughts, but like, it's not like offensively bad, or there's no real point that stands out that's bad to me per se, that would allow, bring a score down like this, like,
Maybe just the
uh
ending.
with the
I think it's
paprika,
very artsy, and
Yeah. Also.
digging in. I think a lot of people just don't like digging into stuff like we do, and if they just see it on screen for what it was, I think I can see why people would probably give it a lower score.
yeah, but like
Like
an
a
hour
shonen bro wouldn't like this.
yeah, but like an hour ago you just argued with me that it was not that artsy enough to not resonate with
No,
most
I was
people.
talking about the age, not whether it's artsy or not.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
don't.
don't know. I think it doesn't hit the Mal demographic super well. Like Mal, like think like I don't know. This isn't to like say one of these is better than the other, but like Bleach is above a 9 right now. You
Yeah.
know? And like
Yeah,
the
so is
highest
Still
Kaguya.
is.
Yeah, but I mean again, this isn't Kaguya either, right? Like, and like Full Metal Alchemist is the highest rated thing. I love Full Metal Alchemist, but like
Come on, right? Yeah, no, I agree. I get
yeah,
what you're saying there.
like there's a type of show that Mal really likes because of its demographic. Just like Anime Corner loves garbage, and
Oh shit.
Reddit tends to be a little more douchey, but also really likes Attack on Titan. So,
Yeah,
uh,
I guess I just, like, like, to me this would strike as something that would end up with like an 8.6 or an 8.7, rather than I'm not expecting. I definitely don't think that this should be like a 9.2 on Mal, or in the top 10.
yeah,
I feel like an
Well,
8.25
think about
feels
people in like Johnny's age group. Like, what do
exceptionally
you
low.
think they are going to rate a show like this compared to somebody in our age group? I feel like that's like a huge factor. Where like something like Perfect Blue, there's blood and gore, and everybody likes that, right, guys?
another thing is this doesn't have like the twist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is just the story, and it's short and it's sweet.
Yeah, it's like an autobiography essentially.
Yeah, like I don't think it has a moment where people are like, "Holy sh!" You know what I mean? Like Perfect Blue has that, you know, and you're like, "Damn!" Like I didn't see like Attack on Titan has that in season 3, right? Like it's like, oh, the good guys were the bad guys. Oh no, you know, like it's just like very, you know, like this doesn't have those sorts of things that people gravitate towards, especially white dudes. You know, if you like look at like, you know, like Fight Club, which is really highly rated, or Seven, which is really
no
highly
one
rated,
talks about that.
or any Tarantino movie, you know, they all have, you know, I would say is a similar demographic to like Mal, where it's like, you know, youngerish, millennial-ish, Gen Z dudes for the most part.
Yeah, I think that's unfair to Tarantino, but that's fair.
Well,
I
mean,
get
really
your point.
popular in that demographic. Like all of those
Yeah.
movies are good movies. They just also, you know, you know, what's the second highest rated movie on IMDb or whatever? Like it's, you know, I don't know. It's like you can see biases in different websites. Is all I'm saying.
It's what, Lord of the Rings, I think, right? Or
Oh,
something?
is it? Okay, well, that's
don't know.
right.
I have no idea. I have no idea. Let's find out. But in the meantime, while I find out, Miles, why don't you tell us the results of where we voted?
I will. Okay, we had a good race this time.
We did.
Did we?
Yeah, let me scroll all the way over to the right because I'm going to start putting more recent things to the left after this.
Oh,
because
The
we have
Godfather is
too
number
many
2.
things. Which is another one of those movies, which is a very good movie and also is very popular within that demographic.
And Shawshank Redemption number 1. I'm surprised. I'm very surprised that's number 1.
That's a good movie.
It's a great
No,
film.
it's really good. I'm just surprised it's number 1. I
I
feel
also
like
think everyone likes the Shawshank Redemption. You know what I mean? Like no one is like, I don't like that movie. It's like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, right? Does it do anything the best? Maybe, maybe not. But like, does anyone not like it who watches it? Not really. Everyone likes it.
it
True.
does have that twist. The Shawshank Redemption does have that twist, that moment that we
Exactly.
just
I
talked
haven't seen
about.
Shawshank Redemption,
Okay.
so I don't know.
So
Please
in third, just turn on a TV by accident and you'll find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just watch USA for like 10 seconds. So in third place we have Link Click.
Son of a bitch! Come on.
Boo, China, boo. There you go.
Yeah, not even a real anime.
No, not Blue China. What?
Earning its, I don't know.
My social credit's going down, unfortunately.
Yeah, as it should.
You never had any to begin with. You want to say
Earning its fourth legacy point. In second place we have Girls Last Tour. Earning its first. And then in first place we have The Daily Life of High School Boys.
Wow.
Wow.
So, the Wasteful Life of High School Girls, or whatever it was, also did quite well. But we got a lot of participation. We had like 17 votes or something this week. So, those were our winners.
Nice. So we'll be watching Daily Lives of High School Boys on the 28th of November. So that'll be the Monday after Thanksgiving, at least here in the States. What do we want to nominate, Miles? I'm sure you're ready.
I am. Was Girls Last Tour a J
Yeah.
thing? Okay. I wanted to watch that. I voted for it first. Jay's not here to re-up it. I will re-up it. I'll do Girls Last Tour.
Respect that. There you go. All right, Kat, what about you?
So, now,
Yeah.
I do want to bring this up. Since we're doing a comedy show this week, I want to nominate another comedy show for next week. But the comedy show that I want to re-up is technically 2 seasons, but on Mallet is listed as 1.
What show
And it
is
is
it?
split up. It is Nichijou.
No, that's 2 seasons. Or sorry, that's it's a 2-core show. It's one
Well,
season.
it's 26 episodes,
yeah,
even though it's even though it's one season. I mean, The Prince of Tennis is 1 season, but it's 150 something episodes. So like that's why it's 1 core. That's why we have that little caveat.
Was it like a split core, but they included it in like one thing? No, it was just straight up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to re-up Wasteful Lives of High School Girls.
Okay.
Wasteful Days.
Works.
All right, Johnny. What about you?
Mm, Well, the last time I nominated the show, I don't think it even like got in the top 3, which is crazy because it had like I think it had a decent amount of legacy points, but I'll just do it again and re-up the Classroom the Elite because
If
why
by
not?
out you mean it has 6. It has 6 legacy points.
Yes, I nominated it 6 times, but it wasn't me that did it every time, right?
No, I don't think so.
I've no idea. I think
That's
Cat
6.
might have at some point.
I think Kat
Um,
has, and I think Pete has as well because he wanted to watch it before.
Oh,
Yep.
the
Yep.
new
I
season
did.
came
They did
out.
it once.
Yeah,
So
it's
there you go.
gonna happen eventually.
Yep. All right. Well, I agree. I'll vote for it. I'd love to rewatch it. Pete, what about you?
Gotta win eventually, I hope. Link click for the 8th week in a row. Let's do it.
Link click. All right. I'm annoyed because I can't do Summer Ghost yet. I'm hoping to still see that this week at Anime NYC, but we'll see. God, where'd it go? I just had. I'll do Princess Principal the movie one more time and see if we can get that back on the tour. I guess.
we're only a few months away from the second one
The
being on High
third
Dive.
one. Oh, the second
Third
one. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, third one from coming out in Japan.
Gotcha.
Wait, what? So the second one has already aired
Like
in Japan?
yeah,
Really?
third
Jeez.
one's coming out in a few months.
That's exciting. All right, well, yeah, let's do Princess Principal though. Sweet. So, I think that wraps up our watch club for the week, and yeah, well, Pete, take it away.
Yeah, and if you have made this far and you want to support us, the best way to do so, like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you are watching and or listening to us on. Next week, our most popular segment is back. Miles will be hosting it. Anime Jeopardy 8, The Ocho. We got me going up against 2 other podcast hosts and Kumar from Senpai Talk Show. So we're going to have a fantastic Jeopardy game. Otherwise, if you are here for Watch Club, in 2 weeks, we will be watching Daily Life of High School Boys. So thank you, and we will see you next time. Peace.